I did want to introduce our speaker, who I've had the pleasure of knowing for about 3 years now.
Amazing.
Amazing. And we actually met, but then reconnected at an event very similar to this, where, do you guys know Quorumorph Logic? Anybody ever heard of that besides Derek? Well, he was speaking. He's a phenomenal guy. You should look him up later. But it's so interesting that when we met, I was not involved in the marine space at all. And I'd like to think maybe somehow you sparked something in me and changed the course of my life. But Paola Espitia is a speaker at sea who has spent 20 weeks cruising over 17,500 nautical miles through the Panama Canal, around Cuba, up Alaska's Inside Passage, and in and out of marine harbors, sharing her passion for and expertise in marine conservation to thousands of people. She's an on-camera personality in her own web series, Conservations with Paola, and along with her fiance, Pi, runs the media and communication studios Ola'pi Creative. However, the ripple of change she's created started from just one experience with the water. She's very knowledgeable, got her master's from NSU, and knows more about coral reefs than almost anybody I know. So without much further ado, Paola Espitia.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much for that introduction, Evan. That was really great. I appreciate that. Well, I love talking about water. Of course, this is my element of choice. And there's something very interesting about water in general. It actually carries a lot of energy. If you think about it, water can both be fluid and flow freely, or it can have the powerful strength of a river. It can be both cold and hot. It can be soft and hard. And just by a single ripple, you can create a massive wave. Now, water is, of course, the source of life. And as a matter of fact, this is what our planet looks like from space. We look like a blue marble. And it's a good reason for this. We're actually 70% water, our planet is. And it just so turns out that not only is our blue planet 70% water, but so too is our mind, our heart, our lungs, and our body. 70% water. And so we follow the water to find life in the universe. We come back to water to reconnect to ourselves. And so it's a very real thing that we are actually water people. One of the things that I've learned is that every time that I speak, every time that I've had an opportunity to be in front of people and share my passion and my expertise, I've realized that it's led to something, that it's led to action, that it truly has been a real ripple effect that I've seen along the way. There was a woman in Alaska that I met, and she was a cultural ambassador for the local Tlingit community. Interestingly, Tlingit these are people who are considered the people of the tides. They're so connected to water. They believe that when the glaciers calve, it's their ancestors speaking to them. They've seen the changes in the glacier action, and they've seen the melting. And there's one glacier in particular that we would always visit there in Alaska that used to be connected at the base of the mountain, but because the glaciers have receded so much, it no longer has that connection. And so the Tlingit people actually, when they talk about that glacier, it saddens them because they say that the glacier is no longer holding hands. But her role was to come on board and bring us into their culture and into their stories. And I had seen her speak before, and I noticed that she was in the audience one time when I was speaking about how water makes us happy, how water makes us better. This is one of the talks that I love to give. And the next time I saw her speak, something had changed. She was pouring forth with so much passion in her words. And she told her story very differently. And she told of the connection that she had to water specifically. And she told of how the people of the tides were now living amongst these changes that were happening up in Alaska. And it was a really powerful talk. And you could really see that the people in the audience, they weren't just there experiencing it, they were actually there hearing. They could actually hear her this time. They were hearing her words. And I joked with her, I said, oh, maybe they had their hearing aids turned up. But I said to her afterwards, I'm like, wow, that was such a beautiful talk. I could see such a big difference. Where is the change? What happened? And she actually said that it was after seeing one of my talks that she was so moved to incorporate more of that water piece into her own talk, that she actually changed her talk and made it more powerful and made it come from her voice in a very different way. And that was when it really hit me that how incredible it is that I may just be one person, but yet I could make that impact on somebody else. And how her giving her talk to hundreds of people every single week was then inspiring them and touching them in a new way. I mean, that's exactly what it's all about. You know, it's that single moment that creates this ripple of change. So, like the canals here in the Venice of the Americas, we are now all connected. Being here in this room, we're all connected. What if you were to follow your curiosity? What if you were to become a wave maker for somebody else and create a moment like that for somebody else? And what if we could each create just a single ripple that would produce a wave of impacts, not only for your family, your colleagues, your community, and maybe even the world? That is just something that I'm so excited about, I'm so energized about. And I know that what I have done has just been all the result of a single little moment that happened to start with the blue marble. So consider, what is your blue marble, and how will you start that ripple of change?